everybody, and welcome to Against the Fence. This is the place to be if you're obsessed and passionate about the UFC, and this is your latest UFC news with that real fan opinion. Now, tonight we've found news ahead of UFC Columbus that Sean Strickland will be taking on Alex Pereira, and that'll be at UFC 277. The venue is yet to be decided, but that will be on 30th of July, I believe. Now, a bit of a mad fight, to be honest. I don't know about you guys. It's just come out of the nowhere, isn't it? It's straight out of the blue. Who would have thought that Alex Pereira would be taking on somebody like Sean Strickland, who I believe is what, ranked number 5, is it? On the UFC in UFC middleweight rankings, and Alex Pereira isn't even ranked. Now, Alex Pereira is coming off of that impressive win against Bruno Silva, but you know, after 3 rounds against Bruno Silva, nothing sort of spelled out, let's give him a top 15 kind of guy, did it? You know, I felt that perhaps, you know, maybe someone a little bit lower in the pecking order, again, another unranked opponent. It's an odd one. It's quite an odd one for Strickland to take, I must admit, because he should be fighting upwards. You know, he's on an impressive win streak at the moment. You know, if we have a look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak, and he's coming off of 2 back-to-back 5-round decisions. So, for me, I think that Sean Strickland's come into this thinking, do you know what? That's the guy that everyone wants to see Izzy fight, right? That's the guy who's knocked out Izzy before. If I can steal that guy's spotlight, then look, who's to argue that I'm the man to go on and fight Izzy next? You know, because I've just beaten his arch nemesis, effectively. So, you know, that's the only reason why I can see someone like Sean Strickland accepting a fight like that. For Alex Pereira, huge jump up, you know? I mean, when I'll break it down for you in just a sec, but look, sky's the limit for this guy. You take out Sean Strickland, then yeah, you are there. Cool. Yes, Cool Smeagol, welcome into the news, buddy. Hope to see you a little bit later, my friend, at the watch along UFC Columbus. And, you know, he's also saying they are trying to push him towards Israel ASAP. I know, and look, I'm all for it. I want to see that fight as much as you guys. But I just believe that this is too much of a jump, too soon. It's insane that the UFC are going down this route. Do they think that perhaps Pereira's going to finish someone like Strickland, who's on the rise and looks impressive? Maybe they do, but the only thing that I can see Alex Pereira winning this fight is if it's one in a bigger octagon. I mean, it's going to be at a pay-per-view, so it will be in the bigger octagon. It's not going to be at the Apex. And he's just going to have to use movement against Strickland. Strickland's just not going to be in your face the whole time. It's a very difficult fight for Alex Pereira. You know? Strickland, like Ash was saying to us earlier in the Discord, is just going to get in your face the whole time. You know, he's not going to give Pereira room to get off his kicks because Pereira's kicking game is, you know, one of his best weapons. Other than, I think, that left hook of his, which is gnarly, of course. Ash saying, man, 100%. Yeah, funny, why would Sean take the fight? He's a madman, says Cool Smeagol. Yeah, I think Sean Strickland's willing to fight anybody at anywhere, any place. You know, regardless of rankings. The guy just wants to be active. Looking sexy with the trim. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. It's a long-awaited trim, indeed. But, yeah, I mean, so, when you look at rankings at the moment, where is Sean Strickland? I think he's top 5, right? Let us know. Can someone get it up real quickly? Do you know what? I might actually have it here right now. Let's scroll down. Yeah, so Strickland's in at 4. Boom. Oh, joint 4, supposedly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he's basically in 5th, right? Ideal for Alex Pereira, you know, who's unranked. You beat Sean Strickland, you go straight into number 5, and then all of a sudden, you're next in line for the belt. He is, because look, Izzy's already beaten Whittaker just recently. Then Vettori, obviously, he's probably going to fight Cannonier in July. That's going to probably marry up well, right? They're trying to marry up the schedules a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Izzy's actually defending the belt against Cannonier in the same card, UFC 277. That's what I think is going to happen, you know. And I think the UFC have just got to run with it, haven't they? I think they're really trying to make the stars align for this fight. I think they want it sooner than other. But the thing is Sean Strickland is so experienced in the MMA game. And for me, I don't know if Alex Pereira's there yet. Guys, what do we think? Canadian Bacon, yes, he says, hello, boys. And as you saw on Discord chat, I agree with what you're saying, Jordan. It might be too much too soon, but also if it depends on if Sean allows his ego to get in the way and he chooses to stand with Pereira, and I think he is needed. He is madman, but I think he will be more like his last fight, and will show a collected and calm approach if he can maybe utilize wrestling more. Guys, hit the man. Canadian Bacon, spot on there. Hit a like on the video if you agree with Canadian Bacon. He's got some really good opinions there. Not only to add that, this will be a 3-round fight as well. You know? So we won't go into this with the questions of how Alex Pereira is going to deal in a 5-round situation. So, you know, I mean, it can work both ways, really, can't it? It just means Sean Strickland's output is going to be way more, you know, and hardly. Is it going to favour Strickland or is it going to favour Pereira? It's a little bit difficult to call. What do you guys reckon? Because, yeah, I think Strickland's going to come in there with much higher output, and Pereira's just going to be on the back foot the whole time and, you know, going to be forced into these early exchanges. It's such a difficult one to call. Like, I'd imagine come fight night or fight week or whatever, this fight is going to be at least evens in the betting, right? Because you've got this wealth of kickboxing experience that Alex Pereira has, the fact that he's knocked out Izzy twice, against a very experienced mixed martial artist in Sean Strickland, who's on like a 5-fight win streak. You know, it's going to be fairly tough. Yes, T says, shout out JK. I think it's far too early for Alex, as Taylor Young as well. So Taylor Young is also agreeing with us and thinking that is way too early for Alex Pereira. Cool Smeagol says, facts, if Pereira wins, I don't see much barriers to Adesanya with the UFC. I think Izzy is too proud to take him down, wants to prove he can KO him in MMA. Yeah, do you know what? That's true. That's the point. So if we get into what would happen in the scenario of Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya in the octagon, you're probably right. He probably is going to be gunning for that. I mean, I've definitely said in the past that I think Izzy's way to victory would be to take Pereira down. But then at the same time, Pereira's working on his jiu-jitsu at the moment. You know, I found out listening to a podcast, I think it might have been Chael Sonnen was saying that he's been working extensively on his jiu-jitsu with Glover Teixeira. So, look, I think it'd be maybe fairly even on the ground. Like, you would think that going into this, Izzy would think, well, you know, if I take this fight to the ground, it's a mixed martial arts fight, I'm not going to get knocked out, and I have better success on the ground. But I don't know. It could be up in the air. I'd see it be high-level mixed martial arts competition, but, of course, early goings, I would probably favour Izzy over Pereira. Now, do I favour Pereira over Strickland? It's difficult, really, isn't it? It's really difficult. Man, that left hook of Pereira is absolute money. But I think Pereira has to knock him out. He's got to stop Strickland. Like, he has to. If he doesn't stop him, Strickland's winning that decision. It's going to be 3 rounds, you know, 30, 29, probably maybe 29, 28, if Pereira is able to kind of knock him down at some point in the early rounds. Similar to what he did against Bruno Silva, you know, and going back to that Bruno Silva fight, it was kind of almost, it was a very difficult fight for him. That second round, it looked like he was sort of slowing down a little bit. Bruno Silva was getting a little bit of success on the feet. I'm sure Ash's memory of that fight is a lot better than mine, because his boy Bruno Silva was there, of course. Let's see. So Sean can take over that fight if it as 3 rounds, says Ash is kind of pretty much agreeing with me. You know, yeah, he has this unbelievable pace. Taylor Young saying the UFC, in my opinion, is pushing for that Izzy Alex fight too early. He needs more time to develop. Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that. You know, when you look at the rankings there, you've got people like Bradford Tavares in at number 12, which I think is a decent matchup to take next, realistically. Or Edmund Shabazian, but I think he would actually go through Shabazian with ease. You know, Shabazian's quite good at mixing things up, and he's very tall and rangy as a striker. But he's fallen on hard times, and I think giving him Alex Pereira would be a bit of a stupid move on the UFC's part. Chris Weidman's obviously coming back from leg injury, so he's not there yet. Andre Munoz is booked up against Uriah Hall. Look, even Darren Till's in there. Darren Till, I think, said in the UFC London Q&A that we went to last week, he said he wouldn't mind fighting Alex Pereira. He'd be completely game for that. That's kind of a fight you would expect to take, but not Sean Strickland this early. I don't know, man. Whether or not it actually goes ahead, that's another question, of course. We don't know what's going to happen from now and July. We got so much time to go. As a fan of Pereira who wants to see that easy Adesanya fight, I honestly hope that someone pulls out. I hope Strickland pulls out. Because, get a much lesser opponent and really work towards that Adesanya fight properly. But I think the UFC are really scared that it's going to go away. And they're kind of scared that, he could very well get paired up with a guy and get finished in the UFC. And then, that fight with Izzy has just lost its credibility completely. So, they're taking a big gamble. And look, I guess it makes sense, doesn't it? Cool Smeagol saying, I don't see it, Young. I think Izzy will have a chip on his shoulder and want to KO him and keep it standing. Okay. Ash saying, yeah, man, that's the thing. Silva put pressure on Alex and he kind of tired. Imagine Sean putting a pressure on. Ooh. Yeah, 5 rounds. Sean Strickland, I think, takes it with ease. 3 rounds, maybe a little bit difficult. We would have to see. Damien, yes, Damien, welcome in, buddy. Hit the like on the video if you haven't done so already. Fight Night main event is coming up at UFC Columbus later on tonight. We hope to see you guys join us for that. That's a matter of hours away. I've literally got to go and set up in a sec. But Damien says 5-1, 5-1, and already fighting the top. Oh, 5-1, sorry. Already fighting the top. I feel too soon. Give him a grappler first and a good one. Wow. Damian Collins want to throw into the wolves. Mental. Yeah, I guess, a Kelvin Gastelum would be a better fight, wouldn't it? As well. There's just so much better fights for him. Kelvin's on the down the decline. Till's had rough days. Shabazi, Brad Tavares, there's so many people in that bottom half of that division that he can easily take next. Crazy. I'm really, yeah. Taylor Young saying Sean jabs his face off. Yeah. Yeah, I think, to be honest, Pereira's got to circle their way and just keep moving, man. Keep moving. Keep chopping the legs as best he can. Just find the money for that left hook. That's all he's got, I'm afraid. Don't like that matchup, but that's my opinion. Okay, guys, you went amazing in the chats. I'm going to have to wrap this up real quick because I'm going to have to set up for the watch-along. Do join us for the watch-along. It's coming right up in a matter of hours. The main card is pretty good. We've got some tough fights on there, I must admit. We've got Curtis Blades against Chris Daukaus in the headliner main event. We've got Joanne Wood, taking on Alexa Grasso. Askar Askarov against Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France on his birthday, taking on a hefty competition in the flyweight division. Do stick around for that. Do join us, and we'll see you in a bit. Take care, sexy.